Welcome to the first episode of 2.5 Good Minutes. Since my introductory video last week, I've been kind of struggling with what I wanted to talk about, and as is usually the case, sometimes these things, particularly in the sports world, tend to fall in your lap. And sure enough, that's happened in the last 72 hours, as Colin Kaepernick is back in the sports news, at least, as Spike Lee and Donald Trump have dropped his name. Spike Lee, somehow it became front page news on ESPN.com that he thinks that Kaepernick being unsigned to date is fishy. And Donald Trump was doing one of his rallies. He was in Kentucky last night, and I'd still like someone to explain to me why he's having these rallies and probably why some of my tax dollars are paying for them. And he made the comment, NFL owners aren't going to sign Colin Kaepernick because, they don't want to get a nasty tweet from Donald Trump. When it comes to this with both Spike Lee and Donald Trump, who are coming at this from two completely different ends of the spectrum. Spike, at the activism angle, is probably thinking it's not positive for the message that's trying to be conveyed, that Kaepernick is not being given a chance. And Donald, then, on the completely opposite end of the political spectrum on this topic, is coming at it as, see, Colin's getting what he deserves. Both of these guys are wrong. And they're wrong not on the whole, they just don't know what they're talking about. Which, unfortunately, is something that is a plague on media, social media, and the opinion business in general, which even now I'm in the business of. So here's the thing, guys. Whether you're the president or you're a filmmaker who has been involved in activism for your entire adult life for the most part, make sure you know what you're talking about before you go public with things like this for whatever purpose, because it isn't just the intended audience, it's the entire world is now the audience, particularly in the case of Donald Trump, and that's dangerous. So here's the background on this entire situation and why neither of these guys sound intelligent when it comes to speaking on this issue at this exact time. Now, what's funny is both of these guys could be talking about this 3 months from now if Colin Kaepernick is unsigned, and both of their comments would hold some water. They don't right now, and here is why. Colin Kaepernick, just as background here, made it to the Super Bowl as the quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers when Jim Harbaugh was the head coach. After one bad year, Harbaugh leaves the 49ers, leaves Kaepernick in San Francisco, goes to coach at the University of Michigan. We've now had 3 straight years where the 49ers weren't good. Kaepernick wasn't good. During this offseason, he opted out of his contract, which was a head shaker because he's not going to get the same amount of money as he could have made staying in San Francisco. And outside of that, up until this point within the sports community, the fact that Kaepernick is unsigned isn't news. He just wasn't good. And there's other guys who are unsigned too. Jay Cutler is still unsigned, and he's better than Kaepernick. I think most people would agree on that. This is not a blackball situation. Not yet. And I don't think it's going to be. But what happens during the free agency period in the NFL is it has to play itself out. And you know what? Sometimes if you're not good, you're not good, okay? The complete opposite end of the spectrum of this is Kaepernick over here, and you have, let's say, Tim Tebow over here. He had his shot too. He just wasn't good. That's all. Enough football minds had him to know that he wasn't an NFL quarterback. So now he's 29 years old and he's going to be playing in the Sally League in the New York Mets organization. You got to be a baseball fan to even know what the hell I'm talking about when I say Sally. So it's about timing. The draft has to come. After the draft, teams will be looking to fill holes. That's likely when Kaepernick will sign if he wants to even be playing football. He's hinted a little bit that he doesn't really want to play that bad. In other interviews, he said he does want to play. We just have to wait and see. But the blackball topic that both Spike and Donald are talking about, there's nothing that supports that claim from either side of the spectrum. the image problem that the NFL has, I'll agree with for a variety of reasons, but it's a case by case basis. It's situational. Ray Rice, Greg Hardy, horrible situations. There's the perception that they got blackballed when Greg Hardy, it looked like, is a terrible human being and a terrible teammate. And after a year and a half of being out of the league, he seems, by some comments he's made as he's tried to get into the MMA world, he's coming to grips with that. Ray Rice, he's done everything right post his abuse case with his now wife, but he just wasn't good before that happened, which is why he doesn't have a job. Remember, the NFL will give second chances if a team can find value for you once you have cleared all of your hurdles. Michael Vick murdered dogs. He murdered dogs. He served prison time, a league suspension, came back and had a job immediately. Dante Stallworth was a wide receiver in the NFL for over a decade. In 2009, he got behind the wheel of a car drunk and killed a man. Within 2 years, he had a job in the NFL again. So there's various reasons someone can be blackballed, especially when you're a convicted felon. Colin Kaepernick was just exercising his First Amendment right, which you could argue the only thing he did wrong was, I don't even know if he had the full support of his employer before doing so, but obviously it became such a blown up issue. You couldn't go back. There was no time machine here that you could go back in. So, Spike, Donald, get all your facts straight. Time your quotes better, because 2 months from now, you may look like a prophet. I highly doubt you are. I hope that it's you that are proven wrong and not me, because that's going to speak on the possibility of second chances. This has been 7 minutes. Hopefully you found out that 2.5 of them were good.